Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to Egghead Entertainment, Egghead News. With me, as usual, Mr. Pablo, say it twice, Solano.
What up, what up, what up?
And in the house, we got that wonder kid y'all all talking about. I'm watching him too. Mr. Mel Taylor.
Yo, how y'all doing, man? So good to be here. Thank y'all so
Mel,
much.
how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, man.
How are
Doing
you
great.
tonight?
Just came back from seeing Ocean's 8 a little earlier today before I had some other business to take care of. So now we good.
A lot of people were talking about that. A lot of people are happy about the fact that it's an all-woman thing and that it was actually done well. And we'll save that for another show. Gentlemen, I'm here to talk about Netflix's Luke Cage, season 2. Talk about Luke Cage. Let's talk about Harlem, season 2. We saw season 1. He's been in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
He's been in a couple other things.
Defenders.
Yep, he was in the Defenders.
Yeah, it was Jessica Jones and Defenders, and then his own shows. He hasn't shown up in Iron Fist, nor has he shown up in Daredevil. So, 4 appearances already.
Yeah, he hasn't shown up in Iron Fist or anything of that nature. But season 2, here we go again. I gave it a B.
Wait. I want to sort of do it this way. Let's give our ratings at the end of this discussion, because I think it's important, so that way we understand why yours was a B. I think after we have this discussion, we'll be able to give it a fair score after we talk. So I saw it. I started. What day did you start seeing it, Trace?
I started watching Luke Cage on Friday. I woke up Friday morning and I started on Friday.
Yeah, me too.
And I started running through. Yeah, we started texting back and forth. I started running through the episodes, and want to be spoiler free. And the same premise is there. And I know we're talking to Mel. Mel has yet to catch it.
Yep.
He's all in it.
Yep, full disclosure.
Yeah,
This
which
week
I can say I'm very disappointed in Mr. Mel.
No,
Wow.
Seen it.
Well,
Because I like
life is
enough
full
for
of
nothing,
disappointment.
and I like listening to Melvin's thought, because he speaks very eloquently, so I can sit there and listen to his reasoning as to why he liked or disliked something. So
I appreciate
very
that, fellas,
disappointed.
but I promise this week I will be able to watch it, so that way I can let you guys know how I feel about it.
Mel, it's not homework. It's not homework. Please. It's not homework. No pressure.
Yeah.
But I think overall that my biggest pet peeve. I'm not gonna, we decided we're gonna do grades at the end of the class.
Okay.
But-
So last night, after finished watching it, I wrote down categories. The things that I loved.
Yeah.
I wrote down another category, things that I hated.
Okay.
One of the things that I loved was Bushmaster.
Totally agree. Bushmaster was a fresh and good approach. He had a good enough, reasonable enough background and reasoning on why he was the antagonist with a cliche. He was the gray villain. He's not really a bad guy, but he does bad things.
Can I make a suggestion or thought that ever since Killmonger and then now Thanos, where you are now sympathizing and caring about certain villains?
That's true.
They're not necessarily villains. They're villains, but there's a reasoning to why they do what they do. Like Bushmaster's
Yeah, that's
story.
true.
Bushmaster's story in this, if you watch it, you be like, damn, they did this dirty. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you sort of like root for, because all he wants is stuff that he rightfully deserves, but he got screwed.
That is true. Yeah, you're not. I see that you're not doing spoilers. If anyone who listens to this podcast is a good friend of Lost or a fan of Lost, they did an episode on his background, which Mel, I'm not going to go into it, but they did an episode, or the majority of an episode, for the reasoning of Bushmaster, and which is what they used to also do on Lost. the reasoning for whatever character or whatever element for the thread line that we're following. And I thought that background episode that they did, I thought that was excellent.
Now, can I jump in real quick and ask a question?
Yeah.
Now, you went back as far as saying since Killmonger, you've been beginning to sympathize with villains, and I'll take you a step further and say it's actually going to lead right into my question. I began to really start sympathizing with the villain when I came across Cottonmouth and his story. Now, since I haven't seen it yet, I'm sure you guys can answer this question for me. Does Bushmaster seem like a good enough villain to come after Cottonmouth? Because I'm still disappointed that we had to lose Mahershala Ali the way in which we did. So hopefully Bushmaster, for me, can live up to the villain status that I believe Cottonmouth could have lived up to had they kept him on long enough. Did he do that during this season?
Yeah, for me, he certainly did that. And the reason I say that is because these are the things. Every time he came up on screen, you were like, "What am I watching here?" And the dude he stole every scene.
Yeah, he's magnetic. He's very magnetic. Very magnetic.
Charismatic, but very sure and confident of himself. And his look, I have to say, it was very menacing. But when he was cool, he was cool. But when it was time to get down, this nigga's scary. You know what I'm saying?
I think the word we can say he's driven. Yes. Cottonmouth was the product of a institutionalized philosophy and an institutionalized agenda by his family.
Right.
So it's different because the great thing about Cottonmouth, which I think everybody who watched Luke Cage season 1 was disappointed, is that they gave layers and the fact that he wanted to be a musician. He did play the piano. He's not the evil, cut and dry, twisting the mustache, Simon Bar Sinister guy.
Right.
Cottonmouth, it was almost as if he didn't want to be here. And the fact when Cottonmouth lashed out the moment he got killed, when Cottonmouth lashed out at his sister, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was his sister. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is his sister. Is that he felt that. I'm not gonna. I think he wanted to say this is not what he wanted. That the only person who had confidence in him was his uncle when he played the piano. I mean, that came out. That's why Cottonmouth was so great, and that's why people were really disappointed when they killed him off. Cottonmouth could have still ran Harlem, or Luke Cage could have still been at war with him if they would have just written that into the script. But Cottonmouth was excellent. And the new guy, Bushmaster.
Can I throw this in there? Can I throw this in there? Did Cottonmouth remind you of Wesley Snipes?
Yes, he did.
Yep. Yeah.
Cottonmouth did remind me of Wesley Snipes. If you ever saw Sugar Hill, Cottonmouth reminded me of Wesley Snipes. Easy. And if you ever saw, obviously, New Jack City.
Yeah.
But Cottonmouth was better than Nino. Nino was just ruthless.
Yeah, but it's just the characteristics and the swag that he had that reminded you of Wesley.
Just the way in which he carried himself really reminds me a lot of a Wesley. So yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It felt nostalgic. Go ahead, Bushmaster.
So yeah, Pablo. There's your answer to that. Was what Bushmaster? Bushmaster was 4 stars in my opinion. Yeah. Bushmaster was 4 stars in that show. Now, what was your other category? You said you had 3.
To me, the way this dude moved, or how they moved, or how he fought, some of the moves that they pulled off in that were very, very, very impressive. It's perhaps one of the best fighting scenes for me in the Marvel, Netflix. For Marvel Netflix. Yeah,
he definitely was one of the best fighters. I would rank him the second best fighter right after Daredevil. And Mel, that's giving you a hint or not giving you a hint, but it made Luke Cage look like a gorilla.
Really?
Dude, Cottonmouth was skilled.
Yeah.
Luke, if you read the blogs, that was one of the things some of the critics came out. Cottonmouth was fast and skilled, and Luke is. Did I say the word gorilla?
No, Bushmaster.
You mean, right? Yeah, Bushmaster.
Oh, excuse me, Bushmaster. Bushmaster was skilled. Luke, gorilla.
Okay. All right, I'm
I mean,
excited to see that then.
It was just.
I mean, but
Yo, the dude was just the and everything that. Yo, I'll spoil it for you. He said this one line that was like, he said, "Dandara is not plural."
yes, he did. He said, yes, he did. He said, Dundada is not plural. I said, oh shit. No, he didn't.
This guy,
Yeah,
this guy. It wasn't like he was so like he was unbeatable, but just it was just the movement.
He has skills.
It was just
His
movement,
moves.
and his the way he moved was just dope. It was just dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that I loved is that Claire left.
Well, there's
She
some
left.
outside info on that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Let's just put it out there that Rosario Dawson, the actress who plays, and then I don't think they used it. Well, they said night nurse. The actress who plays night nurse. There's some other things personally going on with her life that she did just about so much time in the Luke Cage season 2.
And that's fine. I'm just happy that she wasn't in the show for that long. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Well, do you feel that Claire? Do you feel that Claire isn't the glue between all the characters, or you've had enough of
she's
Claire
one of the glue.
being the glue?
The best glue in the show is Turk.
Turk is the best glue, and you know who else is now the best glue? Foggy Nelson is now the best glue.
Yup. Yep. They're good. They have a good web. They have a good web. There's no disconnection between them because these guys put it together. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're watching the lifestyles of many different characters, and they all are connected. You know that they're around. You know,
that is true.
And
you know it's one city. It's still the Defenders, but there's other things matching to them, and Foggy could be the corresponding glue. He's their lawyer.
Yes. When she said to him, "Yo, I'm your backup," I would have been like, "What? You're my backup? You're my backup?" Luke even said it in the damn show. He said, "Yo, you're always around. You're always involved," and it just felt funny to me that he said that because that's the way I was feeling. So that was cool.
But you see, also in the show, with what you're saying, she made a reference to Matt. And if anybody doesn't know who Matt is, I can't help you. If at this point in time you don't know who Matt Murdock is, okay. But she made the reference to Matt, and I see the connective tissue between Luke and Matt. This quote, the vigilante thing. I won't go into that, but it is what it is. Because none of them have badges, and Danny's a billionaire. So if Danny does something, hey Mel, if Danny does something, he could just buy it. You know what they say, you break it, you bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I like the dialogue is because for me, the best dialogue, you can tell who were the actors and who are the new people that really don't know how to get that. The acting wasn't really right. And it's because, and not to say that perhaps the dialogue was the reason behind it, but it was the delivery. It didn't seem genuine. You know, I would watch, and I'm watching it, and then because they said this, it turned me off. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't paying attention.
I don't mean to cut you off, but is this the delivery from the specific actors that are portraying people?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
But then the dialogue with Bushmaster and the Jamaican, that dialogue was great.
It was real now. What they're going, they speak the language that the people know.
It felt genuine.
And the way he kept sucking his teeth, I thought I was in Flatbush. I said, what they're going, boy? I said, what?
Yo, when he sucked his teeth, I was like, yo.
I mean, there's just certain things that you can't teach, and it has to come off natural inflection. And Mel, since he brought up the fact about great acting, the best actors, obviously, his father, played by the late Mr. Reg E. Cathy. I used to see that man every day. Hey, P, I used to see him at 360 Park when he used to go around the corner to go visit. But he was the best actor and one of the best upcoming actors, and I thought he was great. And you think about it, was the new kid, DW. That speech he gave about the barbershop, and I'm not going to ruin it for Mel, he broke it down. He kept it real, but there was also a psychological threat there about
I like Cockroach too.
exploit.
Cockroach.
Cockroach was great, and so was Piranha. But Piranha played an archetype. Piranha played the brother who got out of Harlem.
Yup.
He's on Wall Street,
Yup.
so now he's acting wild and crazy. Like, oh God, this
Can't
is our
wait.
worst
I'm excited,
nightmare.
man. I'm ready to jump into it.
Oh, you'll be very excited. But Piranha was funny. I don't. Piranha was funny, and her daughter. I don't know if she'll be overlooked because this season was surrounded by so many other great actors, but her daughter was great. Mariah was actually great. The club is still the club. Harlem's Paradise is still Harlem's Paradise. It's an element of the show. I think it's the same status quo. It didn't become more and it didn't become less. Harlem got pulled back a little bit, Mel. Harlem got pulled back. It's not so much, because at this point in time in their continuity, Harlem's not in trouble.
Yeah.
It's these individual people that are in trouble.
The last episode to me made me sort of appreciate what I wasn't really feeling previously.
Really?
Yeah. Meaning that the last episode sort of when you think back and look at the previous episodes, it was like everybody has a new role, which makes me more enthusiastic of seeing the next season to see where this is gonna go. You know what I'm saying? The last episode really sort of you felt the end, and it was exciting how it ended, and you're looking forward to seeing the next season of it.
Yeah, I want to pull Mel into this because even though he didn't glimpse at the movie yet, and I say movie, it's a show. I know. Calm down. Mm-hmm. Mel, what were the elements that you liked besides Cottonmouth? Cottonmouth was great.
Okay.
Was it? And obviously, everybody's gonna say you can't go wrong with a soundtrack by Wu-Tang. But what was the other elements in Luke Cage that and most everything Mel carries over? But what were some of the other elements? Was it barbershops? Was it something that we all know personally? I walked into a place, and when I walk in, and only in Harlem, when you walk into a shop there, you actually might hear a bell. You can't go downtown and hear a bell.
Yeah.
But in Harlem, when somebody opens the door, you actually hear a bell. That's like a nod to a different type of... Yeah, Mel, what were some of the elements that you liked about Luke Cage Season 1?
Well,
I probably did carry over.
I just want to... Well, what I'm hoping carries over is, you already said, it's not as much of Harlem as before. So that's one thing that I'm kind of like, okay. I'm glad that the club is actually staying a part of the series, because for me, it's something that kind of like pins it together, and it reminds me, kind of like how you said the bell when you open the door reminds you of a previous time of Harlem. The club for me, just at least for everybody that I know that likes to go out in Harlem and likes to have a good time, like it brings me to that place of being like, okay, this feels like a Harlem that I've been to. This feels like a Harlem that I can go to and have fun with. Those are some of the things. And then just honestly, the fact that they just keeping it uptown in general, and that is stuff that, I don't want to really harken into it, but at the same time I got to, because it matters to me. As long as they keep the representation good, then I'm good from there. And if those things translate, then I'm good to go. And last thing I do want to say though, is her character named Claire? Why am I forgetting her name right now?
Rosario Dawson?
Well, that's the girl who got killed.
Rosario Dawson. Now, I didn't know that, like you said before, she had a bunch of family things or things outside of the filming going on. So that's why that's why she may not appear as much. But I do hope, because of how good of an actress that she is, that they do keep her around, because to me, she feels as if she is, which basically she is, the linchpin to all the series that have been going on so far. And I was hoping that she would get kind of a bit more in this season, but we'll see what's up though.
And, you saw how Luke tried to get back in.
With who? With Misty? Yeah. Wow. That, and as a black man,
was Luke trying to get some more coffee? Is that what y'all saying?
Yeah, man. Oh man, it just make us anyway. One of the best character developments was Misty. Misty didn't go too far, and she didn't sink either. Misty's character never sank, and she
Yeah.
didn't go too far.
Yep.
And her bionic arm is believable without explanation.
Yes.
Okay.
You know it came from Wayne Tech or Stark Tech or whatever.
Rand.
Yeah, Rand Tech, whatever. Pick a billionaire superhero. You know, whatever. But it wasn't really necessarily explained because you really didn't have to go there. We all know it's bionic. We all know once you start seeing her throw certain boulders and meteors around the planet. Okay, she's got the arm, but it showed that she could fight. It's funny. It's funny how the way they set it up, Mel. You'll see it, and then she gets the arm. So it's like, oh my God. It's
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me? But that's pretty much what I love. I think Bushmaster, Brooklyn Bridge, Freddie Mahoney said it a couple of times to me. We may have some phone calls. He said the fact that they elevated Brooklyn. Hey Mel, maybe that was it. They pulled Harlem back a little bit, but they elevated Brooklyn. They elevated Flatbush, and there was nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
There was
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.